Hi, this is Jay Norris, author of Mastering the Currency Market, also host of Live Market Exercise at Clovernest.com. Hey, welcome to our weekly report. Before we get to the charts, we need to point out that trading futures and Forex is a risky endeavor and not suitable for all investors. The charts we're going to be looking at are real-time market snapshots and may not be replicated going forward. First market, the Australian US dollar. You're in no change. You're in a pennant here. You can see we've got the 2-month, well, I guess it's 2.5-month pennant outlined. Also keep in mind you're in a 4-month pennant too. Well, you're in a 2-month pennant inside a 4 or 5-month rising wedge. Rising wedge is a bullish formation. Aussie US dollar up on the monthly, up on the weekly, still up on the daily. Kind of sideways down the daily, but you're still above that daily directional line. So that's still bullish, and that still bodes pretty well for a breakout above these levels and higher prices from there. Hey, this is the weekly report, so let's check out the higher time frame trends. There you go. There you see the pennant. That's a pretty bullish chart, I have to say. You know, and even any maybe fake out breakout to the downside would be welcome. I would still welcome a correction, because if I like this market up above par, I love it. In the high 90s too. So nothing's changed overall. Weekly stance very positive here. Odds are most likely that when you come out of that pennant, that it'll come out of it moving the same way when it created it. That is moving south to north. So we'll definitely keep an eye out for that. Next market, the Euro US dollar. We've been saying now for a while that we thought we were going to test 140. We did. We got to 140 yesterday. I think the door's open for 143. Up above, that's our monthly line. Boy, we've been saying for a long, long time, too, that it was hard to get revved up about being short this market when this market loves double tops. And, when a market loves double tops, vis-a-vis here what you had in 08, the big double top there. You had a lesser double top here at the end of 09. You could see a even bigger double top now at the November highs, just above 142 there, 143 or so. So hard to get it was hard to get revved up being short this guy, given that you still had the possibility of that double top because you had a pattern here of higher lows. So the higher lows set you up for a retest of the last November high, which could potentially be a pretty big double top in a market that over the past couple of years really respects double tops. Next market, the pound US dollar. Here's the weekly pound dollar. This is a pretty interesting one too. All these majors are lined up. I was just saying, hey, the Aussie's in a pennant that could break to the upside. The euro certainly looks like it has room to the upside. Here's our guy, the British pound, and he looks like this pair looks like it's poised for a pretty big breakout. Also, there you go. If you can take out that monthly line and you're knocking on the door. That could be a pretty favorable upside move. That's going to be pretty exciting. Of course, I think we're in the right place at the right time. I say that often. I'm an optimist. I admit that. But you had one close above that line this week. At 3 attempts, one of them got over it. We've been saying all along that a long-term resistance level like that, a monthly resistance level that is, you're going to need 3 daily closes above it really before you can count yourself free of that. So currently the market's in the barbed wire here, so to speak. Weekly's up, daily's up, but monthly is struggling. And brother, I think if you clear that monthly hurdle, you got some room on the upside, just as I think you do in all the majors. Dollar CAD next. $95, I think 95 even the figure. The CAD's in a position where when you see dollar weakness, you see Canadian strength, and vis-a-vis U.S. CAD weakness, dollar CAD weakness. But on the other hand, when you see a little glimmer of dollar strength, also it doesn't lend the dollar any extra oomph against the CAD. So it's kind of a lose-lose if you're long dollar CAD, win-win for the Canadian currency. I don't think that's going to change until you test 95 even down below. So I think more downside. So you only have 200 pips to go before you get to that historic level. Hey, let's take a look at the weekly, and we'll give you some scope on that. I mean, you can see 95 even is not that far off, but it's not that big of a stretch either, considering you almost got to 90 at the end of 2007, at the peak of the bull market in dollar CAD against the U.S. dollar, against the greenback. Next market we're going to take a look at is the chief, the Swiss franc, I should say, dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, there's another market. They've just been beating that guy down. Here's the weekly. You know, I've been saying along, you have the potential for a big rounded bottom here. You're still seeing lower lows, however, so if it's going to do it, it's going to have to do it soon here. And even if you get a rounded bottom with the peak somewhere in here, somewhere close to here, then there's the other side of that. So I don't see the Swissy being the best trade here. Maybe long-term, potentially long-term, interesting area to, well, I don't want to say pick a bottom, but that's what it would be. But you know, maybe time-wise, even price-wise, you're close to a bottom. But that doesn't mean it's not going to be a long, drawn-out affair on the other side. Even if you peak down, even if this market bottoms here, that's the bottom of the ball, and it starts to roll up slow, that could be ugly trade on the other side of that too. But right now, I guess it does kind of look like a little bit of a accumulation here, or distribution, whatever you want to call it, where you have a big up day, then you have a big down day, and it's just having a tough time making up its mind. Interesting, you did shift the short-term trend higher on Thursday, but then you had a big down day right there on Friday. So, you know, the bottom line is down on its weekly, down on its daily, down on its monthly, down on its weekly, flat on the daily. So even if you are in the process of putting in a big rounded bottom, which I've talked a lot about that the past couple of months, that doesn't mean you're going to turn right around. It could be ugly. You know, it could continue to swing back and forth, and that's not the best trade for me, considering I'm more of a trend trader. But you know, I know people that are really good counter trend traders, and they appreciate that market. Next market, dollar yen. Dollar yen, you're seeing some volatility in there, and you know, here's another one. I think you're in the process of a big wide bottom, but that could take a while, and I'd really like to see 80 the figure. I'd really like to see them flush 80 the figure and even get below their fish around there and knock out any possibility of any bulls in there that are trying to hang on, and then you can maybe get this guy going on the long side. You're in a line formation here, sideways line formation. That's what we call it in Dow theory, and oftentimes that is a prelude to a market bottom. So I think time-wise, you're probably close to a bottom. Again, maybe even price-wise, but I just like to see them drill it one more time and just bury anyone that's still trying to hang on the longs, and then you can have a rebirth. Then you can have the beginning of a new move. Here's the weekly again, and you can see that big line formation with 80 at the bottom, and I just love to see him fill in that 80 level, hit it one more time, and get that guy going. Hey, we'll have to see. Hey, here's the U.S. stock market. It was a big day on Wall Street. Market recovered smartly. There's the stock market. Let me take that daily line off there. Here's the U.S. stock market. You think I have enough trend lines on there? Let me clear some of those out. And well, you see how effective the trend lines are. You know, the market respected them, and even though you had a weekly directional line shift there, you couldn't shift that weekly trend. The trend line held. Trend lines are king. Combination of a directional line shift and a trend line break, that would have been significant. You only had the directional line. You didn't have the trend line, so no cigar there. So very nice uptrend in place in the U.S. stock market. Still, we'll drop down to a daily there. And you know, it's an interesting situation because well, here I'll show it to you on the intraday charts. Friday, here's what's interesting. You don't get this often where generally you're below the weekly, below the daily, but you're still at the top of the move like that, so you're all the way up there. If you get a sell signal below the weekly, below the daily, that's a trend trade, right? So you can see how quickly that guy came down. So you're in a pretty interesting position here with the stock market. Yeah, it came back pretty good. I'm sorry, I said it had a big day yesterday. It had a big up day Thursday. My bad. It had a pretty good sell-off yesterday. But at any rate, here's another one where you're in a pretty obvious wedge formation, and that would tend to favor. Well, you never know which way it's gonna come out of there. But from a statistic standpoint, it'll generally come out of there the same way it was moving when it went in there. In this case, south to north. We'll have to see. Hey, let's take a look at the dollar index, and then we'll wrap it up. There's your dollar index. Not much going on. You still look like you have some more room on the downside. Looking at this chart, it would seem supportive of me for, long euro, long pound, long Aussie. So this downtrend of the dollar index looks pretty supportive of the current up move in all the majors. So I think you're going to have some more downside here. I'd love to see this level overall similar to that 80 level in dollar yen. So dollar index looking weak. It looks like you have some more downside. So it looks like we're going to continue to see some more upside in those majors heading into November. Heading into March. Very close to spring too, and we're very excited about that. Hey, my name is Jay Norris. I wrote Mastering the Currency Market. And thank you for sitting in with us, and we'll be back with you Monday.